Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a bit. I actually haven't been doing too much active recording in the last couple weeks around Valentine's Day forward to the current date, like March, the second week of March here. I've just been very busy, work's busy time, and other stuff going on in life. But anyway, if you guys have been tuning in, I've been still putting out a lot of the Build Beauty stuff. This is going to be kind of the start of my deck list that I'm going to be doing for this set that I've kind of focused on. I've put some time onto this deck. I chose Hirudegarn for the World Martial Arts Tournament that was run in Octagon. Shout out to Chris Kreitzman, of course, a guest on this channel for a few things. But he ran the World Martial Arts Tournament where you have to pick a unique MP. Everybody has to pick different MP, and then you submit the list and you play in a tournament online, of course. And I used it as an opportunity to try to actually playtest Hirudegarn more. I had been playing him pretty extensively once the set dropped. I was really the only MP that I really made any decks for. Everybody else, I kind of updated a couple decks here and there. There was just so much to kind of start with and go for, but I really wanted to start trying to figure out this MP. I think his powers and his whole gimmick is pretty cool. He's a gimmick though. That's really kind of where I feel about him. But he was a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun to be trying to figure out. I ended up going, I believe, 2-2. The World Martial Arts Tournament. I don't entirely remember my matchups at this point. It's been a week or two since I lost my last one. But played some other lower tier decks and I beat them. I lost. The real notable loss I can remember was Knowledge Piccolo, which was crazy because I still was actually beating. I just kind of potentially misplayed / Trevor's a good player, so not a bad loss by any means. But anyway, we're gonna get onto the list here. The only difference between this list and what I ran in the martial arts tournament was I ran a third copy of Unleashed and only one copy of Joint Restraint Drill. Now, after doing some playtesting, there's a couple other cards and other things that I'm going to kind of consider for trying out, and I'll recommend them to you at the end of the video. But this list is adequate. It does a job. It's got the makings. It's not a bad spot to at least start from if you're going to be making this. Of course, I chose Adaptive Hirudegarn because I wanted to keep my drills as I leveled, with the prevalence of Unleashed existing, and my desire to kind of use Devouring Drill to level. I like the idea of Adaptive keeping my stuff. Just I wanted to run out everything that I could to get up as quick as possible to my higher levels, which might not be the best thing for him, looking at it, but the whole idea was that if I could jump up sooner, I could get more value out of Hoy if I ever got him out. I don't really dedicate a ton in this deck to Hoy. I just run one Ally Surge card, which is overpowering attack. But deck's kind of neat. I could definitely see this deck actually operating without the Devouring Drill, and then maybe going Disaster Drill as a 2 of instead. Maybe cutting one or two of the other drills. And just going a little bit more anger. Probably cut Devouring Drill and probably Unleashed as well, if you're going to go that route, and just kind of go purely on anger. He does anger pretty well, especially if they're not stopping you at level 1. And Orange just has a lot of anger in general. Maybe Adept is better. If you do notice, I'm going to go through my drills real quick here. We have Devouring Drill, Charging Drill, which has got some neat. In theory, it's kind of cute and neat. It's okay. You could maybe run this set of 2, I don't know. But if I was going to do that, I would probably go Adept and just kind of all in on the constant drills. I run Entanglement Drill and Possession Drill. Of course, Entanglement Drill is the Chekhov Drill replacement. This card still does a lot of work. I mean, it's not as powerful as Chekhov Drill, but this card is still stupid. I don't need to really justify why it's in there, but Charging Drill is one of those ones where it's kind of a neat combo. If you could just read it on the screen, I'm too lazy to read it off right now. But Hiding Drill was really clutch, as always. It's one of those drills that kind of sneaks up on you for its value, but you get it out early, especially in an Energy Beats matchup, or even just a lot of these MPs do life card damage on physical attacks. It's just such a good Outlast card. This card is literally why I won my first match. Oh, sorry, it was Black 18, I believe. I think it was Black 18 or Red 18, and the -2 mod saved my life pretty heavily. Possession Drill, I just run because I run a fair amount of drills. Now again, I could see this deck honestly just cutting this, potentially. Again, if you're going to run a heavy drill, you're probably going to just want to go Adept, but if you want to do like Adept but keep the drills, you could definitely just cut like probably Entanglement Drill, Possession Drill, probably Hiding Drill, even, and just all in on these like physical mod drills. But again, I just don't really think that's really that good. I don't know if you're gonna go adaptive at least. I don't like losing my drills when I level. They're just the only way this deck really feels like it works. Examination Drill is one of the reasons why I like adaptive, is because this card is super insane. There's a ton of cards in the deck that use hit effects. Every one of your levels has a hit effect, so this card gives you so much anti-anger and anger to chain up, which is super good. Also kills allies when it enters the table, which, you know, normally would be an issue if you're running allies, but Hoy thankfully doesn't get destroyed by it, which is really nice. But this card is super, super clutch. Was probably the best drill in the deck, without a doubt. It's pretty legit. And this drill existing alone is why I think you almost don't even need the Devouring Drill Unleashed. But again, I'm just leaving it in there for this build because I haven't tested it down. But if you cut those cards, you'd have a lot of slots open up. I'd probably, again, you'd be able to run probably a little less drills, maybe, or at least one less. But this card is just an engine in itself. It's really, really insane how good this card is in this deck. Joint Restraint Drill, I had one of. Like I said, I cut one of the Unleash down for it. I really like this drill. It's really good. Gives all your levels, turns them all into 5-6 stage attacks, which is really nice. Not to mention just on every attack is nice. People usually don't prioritize killing this one, which is also another reason why it's kind of a nice card to have in the deck, but it's just kind of... this and like Energy Catch are the only cards in the deck I think that can like modify your levels. I believe they're the only cards. I don't think Charging Drill might. Charging Drill does, yes, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Charging Drill does, because that's part of the reason you run this is you get the +2, and if you're chaining, +2, anyway. But this drill is pretty clutch, though. It's really, really good, especially if you're doing those chaining levels with like exam drill combats and such. It's really, really good. Distracting Drill at 1, because your AT is like pretty decent as Hirudegarn, but you will, against other physical decks, lose stages. So Distracting Drill at 1 is never bad for any Beats deck. Disaster Drill at 1, again, you could bump this to 2. I think it's fine at 1. That's the thing, there's just so much I really don't have any issue leveling in this deck, so it's kind of like, I don't want to pack too much anger / leveling in it, which is why I'm thinking probably cut Unleash to give myself more slots, but we'll see. Freezing Drill. Honestly, this card won me a couple, definitely some combats. It's definitely won me some games with this deck in general, outside of World Martial Arts Tournament and World Martial Arts Tournament. So good. I almost want to run 2 of it, but it's pretty good at 1 for now, at least with how often I see it, how I can get it and stuff. Really, really strong drill. Snoozing Drill, really, really good again. It's kind of like the Freezing Drill. This will win you some matchups, or at least hold you out long enough to where you can do a lot of damage, get ahead, be able to blow up their board with your levels. Really, really good drill, honestly. And it's kind of neat that it's lower anger 4 with Bite Kick. Again, the final drill is going to be another constant drill, Orange Investigation Drill. This card is so weird because I never get enough use out of it. It feels like. I don't know. I would cut this drill for sure. If you really think that you should skimp on, or rather just kind of cut down some of the drills, this would be one of the ones I would definitely cut. Pretty uneventful for the most part. I thought it would be a little bit more helpful, but none of the matchups I really needed it in World Martial Arts Tournament. But I have been playing this deck longer than that. I've actually put it on the Drinksy stream as well. But yeah, just kind of not super impactful, to be completely honest, in any matchup. I was thinking with Judeb existing, Spirit Bomb Goku out there, it's just kind of... If I was Adept, maybe this card would be a little bit more justifiable, but I definitely see this one getting cut. I just have to play in a couple more games, but that's the board. There's a fair amount of board. Works. It works, Possession Drill's in here to ideally... If you get it out with one of the few cards that kind of search it, you can filter out some of those drills, which is kind of nice, but could definitely lose some board. But I like most of the cards in there. You know, most of them perform decently well in some aspect. You know, some are better than others. So they're definitely like going to be there's definitely going to be like a kind of a race or you know, competition against all the drills to fit in there. But of course, Hoy's in there as well. Lets you use all of your powers from your lower levels. I've gotten to use him before on 3 and 4, like every once in a while. Sometimes a natural draw him into the game, or I get an OPA, but a lot of time you're not going to even see this combo do anything, which, oh well, you know, kind of sucks. But we get into the attack lineup. I have to run 3 dig because this card's great. Sometimes I use it to accelerate my game plan and get myself up higher, so again, more auto leveling. Which brings us to, used to be 9, now it's 8 auto level cards in the deck. Yeah, really good card though. Orange Beatdown, really just running this for 2 anger. I could see this card definitely leaving for a more high value attack. If I start to cut a lot of the auto levelers, I would probably still keep it though. But you know, this card just being a 2 anger card, potentially 3 with Disaster Drill is why it's in here. I wish if I was going to replace this, I'd replace it with a card that uses a hit effect of some sort, because of the combination with Examination Drill. That's what I would do personally. But Collision Drill, pretty self-explanatory. Any anger or beats deck that's not needing energies is going to run this card. So same with Elbow Rush, of course. The discard pile search, life deck search. Pretty self-explanatory. Extension in here, I play pretty much only physicals, and most of them are styled, so again, this card is just kind of value. It can activate Orange Devouring Drill in combat, which is kind of nice. If I drop one in passing, my opponent enters on me, I get knocked to 0 and or I've like used my power on whatever levels or lower levels I am at. I can just always get a clutch level with Orange Extension. Not to mention helps activate things like Investigation Drill and Exam Drill. Exam Drill especially being really nice. It does get Entanglement Drill as well. So that there's all those things kind of going for it. Really nice card for the most part. Knee Strike, this card's incredible. AT5, Hitler Anger 3, really good. 3 Endurance, Focused Attack, just good. Just really good. Bike Kick as well, still valuable, even after Check Drill nerf, even after all the changes that it's had. Still really good card, so. Especially, again, getting to grab some of these constant effect drills, depending on the situation that you need. Cycling out like Possession Drill or Entanglement Drill, still always good. Palm Charge at 3, only because I'm running Unleashed. This card is kind of like nice sometimes, because you can get sometimes like a clutch crit, because people are just sitting there holding a bunch of physical blocks against you usually. That's what I got for it. You know, it's a 6 life card attack when you use it, so it's not the worst in the world. But I would definitely like to try this deck with cutting this and Unleashed, and maybe a Devouring Drill or 2, if not all of them. And I'd probably run the Focused Energy attack, the Fireball. I think it's like I forget what it's called. It's a Hirudegarn on it. But with the whole idea of focus being said, the reason why I'd want to run that one specifically is because I've learned Gigantic Flame being focused is massive in terms of making it playable and useful. Again, a lot of times people holding Omni blocks or blocks for physical attacks, and the focused is just hard to beat. I've literally won games off of throwing this for the killing damage or the killing board wipe. Really strong card, incredible. So I would just kind of, with that kind of said, just running that other focus energy would be pretty good to double up on it. I'd make them wary of my energies, you know, seeing all these focus pop out, so maybe I can bait them into holding blocks or whatever, or they're just more likely to hit. Also, Orange Power Plant is a thought just to get the drills out faster, but you know, and then OPA. So if I was going to cut a couple cards, you know, those are just some of the ones that I would consider. Would I run more physicals? Maybe. Again, there's some cute effects like Orange Leaping Punch, but I don't know. Physical beats are just too inconsistent with this deck. It feels like you're doing damage with them and you will kind of do stuff with them, but like just does not feel consistent enough in that. And having some energies as an option doesn't seem too terrible. I run 1 Sphere, 1 Halt. maybe Stare Down should be in the deck, honestly, over Sphere, because I run very few events. I just like the idea of being a bit reactive to other people's Unleashed when they could just always like unleash me down with this deck, because I run Devouring Drill Unleashed, but could definitely just cut Sphere and just run triple Stare Down and say fuck it. Part of the reason I did is I was expecting to play against PyCon, and so I put Sphere instead of Stare Down, but whatever. Definitely could run Stare Down over Sphere though, and I'd go through Stare Down, 1 halt. We have 2 energy catch, 2 flee, 2 refocus, 2 defense, 2 juke, and times Warrior's Tool. Now, I just like the 2 ofs. None of the blocks felt like good enough to really need to be a 3 of. I like just the options. With Entanglement Drill really is why I have the 2 ofs of everything. I think Flee is really good. Again, if I was to add more of those energies I was talking about, you know, Flee would kind of lose some usefulness, but it's still kind of a neat card. I've like never actually like used it for effect, which is kind of a bummer. For some reason, people always just like will have a ton of blocks or just, you know, have sequence long enough for the Flee. But Orange Energy Catch, again, really cool, giving my levels +2, which is really nice. That's kind of why I like it in this deck. Both these blocks could definitely go to 3 ofs if I felt that there was more room. Like if I was to cut dead cards out, you know, I like planning cards, I would consider running them at 3s, or if energy meta, but fine at a 2 for open meta. Refocus and defense are kind of the same vein. I mean, these guys are just dual, you know, yin yang of each other. They're just different from each other in that they just search the 2 areas, but again, both super versatile, being able to grab them with Entanglement. So 2 juke. I don't always get the grab from this, but I usually don't have too many drills floating around on the board by the time I see one of these, and I've taken some damage, so it's still worth playing. I could see the call to cut it, especially if you were to go raise the number of freezing drills, for example, or if you just, you know, you were afraid of focused attacks. But I like just the old school, you know, generally like 3, you know, 6-6-3 or like 5-5-3 omnis. But in this case, I just kept everything at 2 because didn't want too many blocks. Timeless Warrior's Tool at 1. So pretty self-explanatory deck. I was saying the stuff about the stage beats not being consistent. That's a big thing with Hirudegarn, not having modifiers on his levels, having low damage on his levels as well, and not having necessarily the highest AT bracket. Like all these things make your beats hit and miss. Orange can kind of pilot itself, and like I said, Distracting Drill, Devouring Drill, or sorry, Joint Restraint Drill and Disaster Drill, all just being modifiers. Charging Drill as well. There's like a lot of ways to modify the attacks up, so like you can get around not having an AT. That's necessarily the best, or putting the most stage pressure from your levels on your opponent. But the board kill is the most powerful part about him. The ability that at which he can level really easily is also really strong about him. I think one thing that kind of is a bummer is that if you level too fast, then your levelers just kind of become dead. And you can't really go down in orange, like outside of like Unleashed or Ball 2ing yourself. There's no like orange cards that'll drop you a level. Which is one of the kind of like thoughts that I've tried to have with my red versions, is to try to make them more a little bit about level bouncing down. It's just the orange one just does the leveling game so well. I usually get to 4 like every game by like probably turn 3 of the game. You know, it's pretty easy to level. Another reason I don't like Unleashed with this deck necessarily is you get to 4 and you just kill the card that you attached anyway. You have to devote a bunch of slots to it. The deck could use a little bit more anti-anger. The board hate's fine in this deck, obviously like very exemplary if you do see the Gigantic Flame, but the anger hate, not having the best anger hate kind of hurts you even more in like those anger matchups. I don't run Orange Meditation, mostly for spacing, I suppose. I just didn't have the room for it at the time by the time I had submitted the last list for this for World Martial Arts Tournament. I could definitely see Meditation entering. Probably should. I thought Orange Saving Kick would kind of be decent as well. I think there's also Orange not left punch. It might be left punch. either way, I said there's like Leaping Punch, which is the one which your drills, when one of your drills leaves play, you draw a card, and then there's Left Punch is the double use one. Saving Kick and Left Punch just being anti-anger options. I wanted to keep the style just to, because if I was going to run those, I'd probably try to be running more Disaster Drill, just for the style synergy. Devastating Blow would be really good in this deck too. That Fireball attack as well, obviously. I mean, I keep saying the kind of the same stuff, but yeah, I think just getting some sort of anger hate in there would be definitely good. Like, again, Devla is probably the best card to probably throw in, but I do like the Saving Kick is really good. Has Exam Drill synergy, but Meditation as well could all make their way in. I think that's really it. I think you just, everywhere else you do fine enough in the deck. I think if anything could probably shift how you level, just to free up some more resources, fit some more anti-anger in, and then Stare Down's probably block lineup. I probably wouldn't touch too much. It's pretty fine how it is, but anyway, guys, hope you're enjoying the set. Take it easy. Peace.